For the record, the higher healing thing, I did see that quote. That's a bunch of BS. Just number one, of course you're in higher healing. You healed in the arms of another. Yeah, of course you healed faster. You healed in the arms of another. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you filled that void immediately. I was gone, that void was there, bang. And of course you think you're in a place of higher healing. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's funny, because you're not. Why'd you go to the LSU game then?
To have a very civil conversation with Ryan about everything, because we don't communicate often. I really just wanted to have that closure, that one conversation that kind of closed everything up. And we had that. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm in a place of higher healing and an elevated healing than he is right now. And so I've kept my distance, hoping that he could find that happiness and that healing for himself. What I want for him is to find his happiness in whatever form that is. And I encourage that. I have no ill will towards him at all. I wish him the very best. But any communication right now is just not in the best interest of our team.
Ryan Anderson's live session has sent shockwaves through the narrative surrounding Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Every time we think we have a handle on what's really happening, new layers of deceptions are peeled back, exposing Gypsy for who she really is. Ryan didn't hold back this time. He laid out the truth, not just about Gypsy, but also about Kristy Blanchard and Ken Urker. If you've been following this story, you already know Gypsy's life is anything but straightforward. But what Ryan revealed is more than just the same old drama. It's a full-on expose of manipulation, deception, and the lengths Gypsy will go to keep her image intact. We are diving deep today, breaking down everything Ryan has revealed. It's time to look at Gypsy's false narratives, the media games Christy is playing, and the twisted dynamic between her and Ken. This is no simple story. It's a web of lies that's slowly unraveling.
Why don't I like Christy? Like, honestly? Like, did somebody really just ask me that question? Why don't I like Christy? Really? Have many reasons not to like her. She, yeah, I blame her for a lot. I blame her a lot. You know, she knew what she was doing. Like, she's conniving and manipulating worse.
Let's jump right into Kristy Blanchard's dinner with TMZ, because it's clear that this isn't just about Gypsy anymore. It's about controlling everything from behind the scenes. Ryan didn't hold back when it came to Kristy Blanchard's involvement with the media. He mentioned something that might seem like a throwaway comment at first. Christy had dinner with TMZ before that San Francisco trip.
I went to New York. Christy went to LA, and they had dinner with a lady from TMZ, which is hilarious to me. Thank you for that, Train. Thank you for who sent that. I didn't see it. And of course, they had dinner with somebody from TMZ, and then of course, Ken went to San Francisco. But that's beside the point.
Dig a little deeper, and it's clear this wasn't some casual meal. No. Ryan hinted at something much bigger, a scheme to shape Gypsy's public image, making sure that the media only portrays her in a favorable light. This isn't new behavior though. Gypsy's family has always tried to protect her, to make her look like a victim rather than a manipulator. We've seen time and time again. You have to wonder, why would Christy be meeting with TMZ of all people? We're talking about one of the biggest gossip outlets, a place that thrives on sensationalism and controversy. Ryan suggests that it was no coincidence. Christy is playing the media game, one where more rules are bent to benefit Gypsy at every turn. Think about it, every time Gypsy faces backlash, there's a new angle, a fresh narrative that spins her as the misunderstood victim. Whether it's about her pregnancy, her relationship with Ken, or her past with Ryan, the story changes depending on what suits Gypsy and her team. And that team includes Christy.
You know, she didn't like me, so she got rid of me. She did everything she could to get rid of me. Still doesn't like me. And that's fine. I'm not a big fan of hers either. But she wanted to get rid of me, and guys, she wanted to get rid of me because she couldn't control me.
Ryan called it out for what it is, a calculated move. Christy and Gypsy are controlling the media, ensuring that the public only sees what they want them to see. This manipulation is so subtle, yet so pervasive. It's no wonder Gypsy's story keeps shifting depending on who's asking the questions. And honestly, This isn't about redemption or healing, it's about control. Christy's dinner with TMZ just adds more fuel to the fire. It raises the suspicion that they are working behind the scenes, trying to keep Gypsy's lies from unraveling. And if Ryan's right, let's face it, he's been on spot so far. This media manipulation is far from over. But as we'll see with Ken's trip to San Francisco, not everyone is easily fooled. Ken Urker's trip to San Francisco should have been just that, a trip. But according to Ryan, it was anything but normal. Ken wasn't thrilled to be there, and that's putting it mildly. Ryan described him as a frustrated, uncomfortable, and honestly, like he didn't want to be part of whatever was happening.
A lot. But, I mean, I did find it funny that Ken did go to San Francisco. I mean, y'all didn't find that funny? I did, but whatever.
It's one thing to be dragged into someone else's drama, but it's another to realize you're a pawn in a much larger game. And what about Gypsy? Supposedly pregnant, sitting at the airport doing nothing while Ken's frustration grows? Why was she there, live streaming as if it were just another day? Ryan didn't hold back on this one. He suggested that the entire situation was a setup. It's not hard to believe. Why else would Gypsy be at the airport, going live without any real purpose? The whole thing smells like another one of Gypsy's stunts. She knows how to pull attention, how to make people watch and speculate. But what's even more telling is Ryan's surprise that Ken went along with the trip in the first place.
The kind of person who wants to get here 3 hours. And this is exactly what happened. We ended up sitting at a fucking terminal for 2 hours.
But you could always go shopping at the little gift shops.
Who wants to go shopping at an airport? Who wants to spend 3 times the price on a...
I like to.
It's clear that from his reaction that Ken might not have known the full scope of what was going on. This isn't just a man traveling with his partner. This is someone being pulled into Gypsy's world of manipulation, whether he realizes it or not. Ryan's insights here is important. He's been in Ken's shoes. He knows what it's like to be caught up in Gypsy's game, to be used as a prop or whatever narrative she's spinning at any time. And now it seems Ken is the latest victim. The frustration Ryan described isn't just about being at the airport. It's about realizing you're a part of something bigger, something manipulative and calculated. And the more we look at this trip to San Francisco, the clearer it becomes that this wasn't just a vacation. It was another chapter in Gypsy's ongoing manipulation. But this time, the cracks are starting to show. And Ken's frustration, well, just might be the beginning of the end. Now, let's talk about Gypsy's appearance on the Vile Files podcast. If you listened to that interview, you probably noticed how she downplayed her connection with Ryan, acting like they were barely in contact.
Gypsy, we kind of watched you go back and forth with Ryan on social media. At what point were you like, I'm done with this, I've got to stop?
I'm still going through the divorce, which will be finalized sometime this month. I mean, honestly, I have been trying to have a very civil conversation with Ryan about everything because we don't communicate often. I really just wanted to have that closure, that one conversation that kind of closed everything up. And we had that. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm in a place of higher healing and an elevated healing than he is right now. And so I've kept my distance, hoping that he could find that happiness and that healing for himself. What I want for him is to find his happiness in whatever form that is. And I encourage that. I have no ill will towards him at all. I wish him the very best. But any communication right now is just not in the best interest of our.
But Ryan, he wasn't going to let that slide. According to him, they've been in communication far more than Gypsy let on.
I saw a clip from the Nick Vile Files. You got to take things she said with a grain of salt because look who she was sitting there with. That's the narrative she has built to him and to people. So, like, she had to throw stuff like that out. Of course, she said we've only talked once. I mean, of course she said that. But look, guys, loose lips sink ships, and I don't like telling my business, like, really. So, I mean, of course she said things like that. I don't know if they did or not. Right. I saw somebody say that. Right. It's just, you gotta realize who she was on the podcast with. That podcast, I think she said did hurt my feelings. But I mean, I'm human.
And honestly, this is where things start to get frustrating. Every time Gypsy speaks publicly, she's rewriting the story, making herself look like one who's moved on, who's grown, who's healed. But we know better. Ryan called her out, and rightfully so. Gypsy's not being honest about their relationship, about the contact they have had, and she's certainly not being honest about her so-called healing. She's pushing this narrative where she's the strong one, the one who's moved past all the chaos. But Ryan made it clear that that's not the case. Think about how many times Gypsy has tried to make Ryan look like the one who is stuck in the past, who can't let go. But the truth? It's Gypsy who's still tangled up in everything. Ryan is letting her off the hook, and he's done with the games. He's tired of her rewriting their story to make herself look the better one while ignoring the truth of their interactions. Gypsy wants the world to see her as the reformed victim, but the reality is far more complicated. Ryan is calling her out for what she's really doing. Lying to save face, manipulating the truth to fit her narrative, and honestly, it's about time someone did. The fact that she's still reaching out to him behind the scenes while publicly denying their connection, that speaks volumes. Gypsy hasn't moved on, not in the way she wants people to believe. She's just pretending to, and Ryan is done playing along. This isn't the first time she's spun a false narrative, and if Ryan's revelations are anything to go by, it won't be the last. Let's take a moment to address one of the most absurd claims Gypsy has made recently. Her so-called higher healing. Ryan didn't waste any time calling this out as complete BS.
Just for the record, the higher healing thing, I did see that quote. That's a bunch of BS. Just number one, of course you're in higher healing. You healed in the arms of another. Yeah, of course you healed faster. You healed in the arms of another. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you filled that void immediately. I was gone, that void was there. Bang. And of course you think you're in a place of higher healing. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's funny, because you're not. Why'd you go to the LSU game then? That's right. So, higher healing my ass. But, went rogue for a second. Sorry, I'll bring it back. Let me breathe. But I just said some real talk, and y'all can like it or not, I don't care.
And really, can you blame him? Gypsy went from being in a relationship with Ryan to jumping right into one with Ken. That's not healing, that's deflection. Ryan pointed out that Gypsy filled the void immediately, and he's right. Instead of taking time to reflect, to actually grow from the situation, Gypsy moved on to the next person who would give her what she needed. It wasn't about healing, it was about avoiding the hard work of actually dealing with her issues. Gypsy wants everyone to believe that she's found peace, that she's on the higher plane of existence, free from the drama and toxicity of her past. But let's be real here. True healing doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen when you are running from one relationship to the next, using people to fill the gaps in your emotional life. What Ryan exposed here is something we've all seen before. Gypsy's need to control the narrative. She's trying to make herself look like the bigger person, the one who's evolved past the echoes, but Ryan knows better. And frankly, so do we. Gypsy hasn't healed. She's just covering up her issues with a new relationship, a new narrative, and a new lie. And as much as she wants the world to believe she's in the place of a higher healing, the cracks in the story are starting to show. The truth is, Gypsy's just as manipulative and calculating as she has always been. And this higher healing claim, just another layer of her carefully constructed facade. If you thought the Taylor Swift ticket incident was just a blimp on the radar, think again. This situation really shows the length Gypsy will go to get what she wants. Ryan revealed that Gypsy tried to sneak $12,000 out of their joint account to buy Taylor Swift tickets.
We had that order of people, everybody thought it was a restraining order. It wasn't a restraining order, it was a community order. And we could not like hide our money or whatever. Like, we had a joint account, like me and Gypsy shared it. I put money in it, she put money in it, whatever. And she had just left, and we filed, and she filed, and then on there, it had a community order, you know, couldn't like spend big lump sums of money or whatnot. And this kind of goes with the story of the Amber J. Taylor Swift thing. I got a notice on my phone. It was like a fraud notice. Gypsy tried to buy 2 Taylor Swift tickets with our money and spend like 12 grand on tickets. And thank God my phone caught it. You know, she was like, it's my money, I can spend it. Yeah, it is your money, but she couldn't do that, and that was her thing. And she tried to do that, and Gypsy, that's the only story I'll tell, but yeah, I called her and explained the situation. She didn't realize that's what that meant. So it was one of those when it was her money and my money, but she couldn't do it, and we laughed about it later. But it was just funny. She tried to do that.
Let that sink in. $12,000 behind his back, knowing full well that she wasn't legally allowed to make any major withdrawals because of their community order. But did that stop her? No, absolutely not. This wasn't an innocent mistake. It was a calculated, deliberate act of betrayal. Gypsy knew what she was doing, and she didn't care about the consequences. It wasn't just about getting the tickets. It was about doing it behind Ryan's back, knowing it would hurt him. And here's the thing, Ryan caught it just in time. But what if he hadn't? What else would Gypsy have done with that money? This incident paints a clear picture of who she really is. She is sneaky, manipulative, and willing to bend the rules to get ahead. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of behavior from her. This wasn't just about buying concert tickets. It was about Gypsy's complete disregard for the boundaries and rules that were in place. She didn't care about the legal implications or how it would affect Ryan. All she cared about was getting what she wanted, no matter the cost. Ryan's revelation here is just another example of how Gypsy hasn't changed. She's still the same person who will lie, manipulate, and deceive to get ahead. And the fact that she tried to steal $12,000 from their joint account, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her underhanded behavior. Finally, let's talk about the paternity of Gypsy's baby. Ryan has openly admitted that he still has doubts whether the baby is his or Ken's. And honestly, can you blame him? Gypsy has been adamant that the baby is Ken's, but given her track record of manipulations, it's hard to take anything she says at face value. Ryan's concerns are completely valid. He's been left in the dark, unsure of where he stands, while Gypsy continues to play games with the truth. She's using the pregnancy to further her narrative, to keep Ken on her side, and to push Ryan out of the picture. But is she hiding the real story to protect her relationship with Ken? Is this just another one of her manipulations?
If I am the father of that baby, I will do my responsibilities as a father. I will, if that's my kid, I will want to be involved, Do I think it's my kid? I have thoughts. I have questions. I have concerns. I have things like that, but nobody's like, it's one of those, Gypsy said on the podcast that we haven't really talked about that. Of like, what if it is and what if it isn't, because she believes it's his. So I can't make her change her mind on that, and that's fine. She thinks it's his, and if it is his, it's his. There's nothing I can say on that. Like, guys, do I think, honestly,
Ryan has every right to question the paternity, and the fact that Gypsy hasn't been upfront with him speaks volumes. Once again, we see her trying to control the narrative, to keep Ryan at arm's length while pulling him in just enough to keep drama going. It's classic Gypsy, always playing both sides, always keeping people guessing. And this paternity question isn't just another layer of the manipulation. Gypsy wants everyone to believe she has it all figured out. But the truth is, she's still lying, still hiding, and still trying to control every aspect of the situation. Ryan's doubts about the paternity are just the beginning of what could be a much bigger revelation. At the end of the day, what Ryan has revealed is a pattern of manipulation, deceit, and control. Gypsy Rose Blanchard isn't the innocent, reformed person she wants the world to believe she is. She's still playing games, still pulling strings, and still using the people around her to get what she wants. From sneaky financial moves to playing mind games with Ryan and Ken, Gypsy's web of lies is slowly unraveling. But how much longer can she keep this up? How much longer before the lies catch up with her? Ryan's not staying silent anymore. And with each new revelation, the real Gypsy is being exposed. This story isn't over yet. And I have a feeling we're about to see even more of Gypsy's true colors. So, what do you think? Is Gypsy still the manipulative person Ryan is exposing her to be? Or has she really moved on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to stay up to date on the latest, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. This story is far from over, and I'll be here to break it down every step of the way.